The prequels are some of the most important movies in film history, and I'm going to tell you why. In 1977, a little film, you might not have heard of it, called Star Wars, was released to the world. What proceeded was a trilogy of movies that totally dominated the pop culture zeitgeist. Star Wars was everywhere. Then all of a sudden, in 1983, it wasn't. 16 years later, in 1999, it came back. Let's address the elephant in the room. Are the prequels good or bad? They're mediocre at best. Every time I start the Star Wars franchise, I'll always start with a Phantom Menace. I have to admit, it is a bit of a bore to sit through, especially after seeing it so many times. And there's obvious mistakes everywhere and narrative writings that make no sense in the context of the whole saga. That's not what we're here to talk about today. What we are discussing today is what these films introduce as far as filmmaking techniques, story thread techniques, and how they're used in today's modern filmmaking. And what I'm going to attempt to do is go through each one of the movies, starting with Phantom Menace, and put them on a important scale. So when we get done talking about the Phantom Menace and what they introduce, we're going to rank to see how important it is to filmmaking techniques and storytelling techniques that are still used today. And here's the kicker. I still got to work. So while we're doing this thesis, we'll be DoorDashing also. The first and obvious thing that the prequel trilogy did as far as filmmaking and story techniques go is recontextualize the prequel. Godfather Part 2 works as a prequel/sequel movie. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom took place 1 year before Raiders of the Lost Ark. So no, the Star Wars series is not the first prequel idea, but what it did do is recontextualize how to use prequels in storytelling, lore building, using previous narrative threads as a build to, and that's it. And it modernized how we use prequels today. The Phantom Menace was not the first movie to use digital filmmaking. However, it is the first film to build their entire movie around digital construction. In other words, full CGI crowds, full interaction with a CGI character, Jar Jar Binks. The use of blue screen and green screen backgrounds as settings. Actors acting to nothing. You know, a ball on a broomstick sort of type of technique. The Phantom Menace didn't reinvent the wheel, but it started to reinvent how that wheel was used. It's important to note that the Phantom Menace was still shot on film. and works as a bridge to Attack of the Clones. It is still important in its own way by introducing these concepts, but it still was shot on film. Yoda was still a puppet, and Attack of the Clones really is the one that changed the game altogether. Just a side note, and I just thought about this. In 1986, George Lucas sold essentially what is Pixar to Steve Jobs. So, again, George Lucas, history of filmmaking, the two go hand to hand quite regularly. So, on a scale of importance, not if the movie's good or not. Who gives a shit about that anymore? That's all opinion based anyway. But on a scale of importance, The Phantom Menace deserves a 6 out of 10. Not because it reinvented anything. It just recontextualized how digital was used and how prequels are used moving forward. And building the bridge to one of the most boring but important films in film history. I am literally on a order just to pick up one 12-pack, 6-pack, whatever, of Gatorade. And what some people spend their money on, but you know what? I'm not complaining. I'm getting paid. So, Attack of the Clones. It's already very important because it taught the world one very important detail. Do not let George Lucas write romance. No. Don't do that. That right there gives the movie 5 points on the importance scale by itself. So, Attack of the Clones. Folks, this movie is one of the most important movies in film industry. And ironically, it is one of the most boringest movies ever made. But with that being said, this movie was shot entirely digitally. And I do believe that's the first time that was ever done. Matter of fact, George Lucas wanted to cut out the middleman as far as editing go. He had the foresight to understand that if we shot films digitally, that we could edit quicker, like within hours of the same day, versus waiting for film to come back, which sometimes took anywhere between 24 and 48 hours. Just got an order for like $24. Little itty bitty shopping, but a long drive. But anyways, this video is possible today because of the innovation of George Lucas in Attack of the Clones. When somebody drops a video on YouTube that says Attack of the Clones was a shit movie, they're not wrong, but they're able to drop that video because of that said shit movie. So, as far as importance go, this film is 10 out of 10. No two ways about it. Matter of fact, this entire video could be just around Attack of the Clones, because the Phantom Menace bridged the ideas to the Attack of the Clones. The Attack of the Clones executed the ideas, and now episode 3 reinforced those ideas. So my customer here ordered 3 green peppers, 4 yellow peppers, and 2 things of help me figure out the logic. Wouldn't just I don't know. Not worried about it. You're getting paid. Alright, I'll be honest with you. I don't have much to say about Revenge of the Sith as far as importance go, because Attack of the Clones laid all the groundwork. I could say that the fight choreography between Anakin and Kenobi was some of the best fight choreography you ever will see in film. I mean, it was just pure dance. But is that important to a film industry? I'm not sure. So, for the sakes of sounding like a fanboy and gushing over the Revenge of the Sith, getting into a full-scale review, and staying on topic about importance, I'm just going to give this movie a 3 out of 10 as far as importance goes, because it just repeated the work that was already established in Attack of the Clones. So, Phantom Menace, 6. Attack of the Clones, 10. Revenge of the Sith, 3. Alright? So that's 19 out of 30. Alright? Yes. Because of the Attack of the Clones itself, this is one of the most important trilogies in movie history. Not from, is it good? Is it bad? Well, it's damn sure better than the Disney sequel trilogy. Which, by the way, here's an interesting and ironic take. Those movies are also important because they were so bad and so much fan backlash that Disney was scared to do something original. So they threw out a retread of A New Hope, called it A Force Awakens, showed no direction where they were going with the trilogy, and screwed everything up. Am I wrong? But, so, this has been a DoorDash Chronicle episode / Star Wars talk. See you next time.